How ya doing, everybody, and welcome to NinjaToons, where the martial arts meets the creative arts. I'm Michael Voog, the Art Ninja, coming to you from my studio here in the Simi Valley Town Center, and today we're drawing Sonic the Hedgehog for Speedster September. Soon. So like I said, this is Speedster September, and so all the characters that I'm drawing this month are based around speed. So last week we drew Vanellope von Schmeatz from Wreck-It Ralph, and today we're drawing Sonic the Hedgehog. So as we do in all of our videos, make sure you stretch first, make sure you think about the character, get Sonic in your head. Now I'm talking about Sonic from the cartoons and the video game, not the new movie coming out, okay? So a lot of people feel weird about the new look of the design of Sonic, but we're going to draw him from the classic version of Sonic. And then after that, we're going to go into our sketching. So let's get started with our sketching. As we talk always with Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic starts with the letter S. So we're going to sketch this letter S across our paper. Now be very aware of how I'm drawing this S. The top of the S is much thinner than the bottom of the S. The bottom of the S is much larger than the top. So feel it out, kind of get this shape right first. And if you have to go over it a few times, that's fine. The next step is we're going to draw in a circle, and this circle is going to be for Sonic's head, and we're going to give him a little bit of a center line here. He's going to be looking off, obviously in the direction that he's running. That's the safe thing to do. And then we're going to draw in his body. Now his body, as we talked about in the 2-minute tip, his body is going to have a specific shape. So it's more like a ball, and then with a kind of a cone attached here. But we're going to draw this kind of an avocado shape for his body. And Sonic has very long legs. So I want you to draw his first leg coming out like this. And the other leg is going to be coming out behind him. Again, making the really long legs. Sonic has long legs. All right. The next step for Sonic is let's put in some more basic shapes. As we talked about in that video, we have our circles, squares, triangles, and rectangles. So the first thing we're going to draw is the cuff. Let's use a rectangle shape, a cuff around both of his shoes. And then we're going to put in more of like a triangle shape to the bottom of his feet or his shoe. So see how the bottom of his shoe is following the bottom of the S. I'm incorporating his whole design, his whole action into the letter S. So I'm sketching lightly. Remember, we learned about that in another video, in another 2-minute tip. Sketch, not carve. And then in this negative space right here, we're going to draw a circle. This is going to be his fist. And we're going to draw his cup for his glove. In front of his other toe, we're going to draw his other fist. So draw a circle. Make sure this circle is about the same size. See this? Make sure it's about the same size. And then we're going to put the cuff of his glove. All right. So we established his head, his body, his legs, and his hands. Now let's start adding some detail. We're going to have Sonic looking slightly up and forward. We're going to add his ears using triangle shapes. Now one ear is going to be on this side of the center line, and the other triangle is going to be on the other. Now if we think in perspective, we have to make this other ear a little bit bigger because it's closer to us. Now we're going to connect his arms to his shoulder. See that? And then we're going to connect his other arm here like that. And we may have to make a few adjustments, and that's the purpose of sketching lightly. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Let's connect his legs, because he doesn't have stick legs. He does have a thickness to his legs. But his legs are thicker at the ankles than they are up where they attach to his body. Now at this stage, we're also going to draw the back of his head, which is one of those characteristics of a hedgehog. So you can draw, if you think of this like the letter M, or if you want to make a bunch of, shark fins or pizza slices, however you see that. Going to help show off his speed. Now we're going to draw on his face. Now the thing with Sonic's face is we have first his characteristic, I would say it's almost a mischievous look. He's not angry, but he knows, kind of like the Roadrunner, another speedster, right? He knows that you're not going to be able to catch him. So we're going to put his eyes in here, and then we're going to draw his nose. Now watch how I do this. From the center line and eye line, that's where the beginning of his snout is going to start. I'm going to curve this up, and I'm going to curve it around so it reaches the bottom of that circle, which is his head shape. And then we're going to give him his nose. So his nose is a long, thin nose at the end of his snout. And then we're going to give him that Sonic smirk. I wonder if that's a hashtag, Sonic smirk. I like that. Sonic smirk. Cool. I'm going to draw the inside of his ears. And at this stage, I'm just starting to add detail. I feel like all the shapes are looking nice. Now let's put in his fists. So for his fists, watch what I do here. I'm going to bring a line into the circle. I'm going to make a C curve. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make ovals that come around. And we're going to give him his 4 fingers, including his thumb. So there's his fist. We also have the meaty part of his fist. There, like that. And then on his other fist, we're going to see the back side of his fist. So we're going to draw that a little bit differently. Let's draw his thumb. And then we're going to draw a straight line. And you can already see that if we just draw a C curve right here, it's already starting to make his knuckles. See that? All right. Now on his tail, we got to add that. And then we're going to add the strap. So he runs so fast, his shoes, we don't want his shoes to fall off, or the soles of his shoes. So he's going to have that strap that keeps the bottoms of his shoes onto his feet. Let's do that on both sides. C curve, and then add the bottoms to his shoes, like that. And again, it's all at this stage, it's just a very loose drawing. Okay? Some of the things that I see here, I may want to bring this hand up a little bit. So I'm going to do that in this sketching phase. I feel like it could be a little bit higher. And just making adjustments. Right now we're going to add the final details in this sketch. So we're going to have Sonic looking at us. Yeah, his head's pointed forward, but he's looking at us because he knows we're not going to catch him. We're going to give him some eyebrows right above his eye. And then we can add some wrinkles in his gloves. So we have this glove that comes across, and we'll add, maybe a little wrinkle in there. He has his shoulder up like this. And then we also have the colors on his chest. Now, as we talked about in the last video, the 2-minute tip, let's draw a center line right here on his belly. And then we can shape the white patch on his chest around that. Okay. We can add some wrinkles here on the cuff of his shoe. Do that on both sides. And the last thing we want to add is the buckle. So we're going to draw a rectangle, and then another rectangle inside of that. Normally at this step, now that we've done our blue line sketch, Sonic's blue, so I chose to use blue for his underdrawing or his sketch. If I had a red character, maybe I'd use a red colored pencil. It just makes it easier when we get to the coloring step. But normally, using an iPad, I would use an ink brush. What I want to use today is I actually want to use the pencil as if I were drawing this with you using your NinjaToons pencil or your regular #2 pencil. So I want to focus here on what we've talked about in other videos about line quality or adding weight to your lines. So watch how I do this. When I draw in these lines here, see how I'm building up on the line? I'm going over it a few times, but notice how the end of my line here gets a little bit thicker. And this is also called tapering your line. So I'm going over the line, getting it to the thickness I want, but I'm taking care that it's the right weight and thickness that I want for this character. Now, typically the outline of the character may be a little bit thicker, and that just makes for a good silhouette. But in this sketch, I usually always start with the eyes, or the eye region. Like this. He has his pupils like this, and there's actually even like a little highlight in there for Sonic. And then from there, again, just building up on good line quality. You notice that the lines are not as sketchy as the previous step. So I'm really trying to make sure when I do this that the lines are smooth. And I'm going over them evenly. So at this point, you can watch the speed draw as I go through the cleanup. And you're seeing here that I'm just going to continue this process all the way through as I create. So go and cue that time-lapse video, and I'll see you at the end of this step. So that just completed our inking step, also known as the cleanup step. And if you used your #2 pencil as you went through that step instead of a marker, awesome. Hopefully your lines came out nice and clean. The next step and the final step is going to be color. Now there's many steps to color. We're going to lay in just the flat colors right now. Now if you're using colored pencils, just pick out your standard blue, your royal blue. But if you're using a tablet, you can color this on its own layer, but you may want to try this. Depending on the software that you're using, pick another layer, and you're going to put that layer below your ink layer. So we can label this here. Let's label this here inking, or your ink step. This will be our color layer. And this will be our sketch layer. So we're going to go to our color layer. Let's pick out a nice blue for Sonic. Something that's not too dark. That looks good. Now, if you guys use a tablet or some kind of digital media to color your work, it's very easy to do the drop or the fill. But if you're using colored pencil and paper at home, I'm going to give you a quick little tip on sketching. So if we zoom in to Sonic here, when you color him in, try to color all in the same direction. Looks very sloppy if you were to color him and just kind of scribble all around. That doesn't look nice. So when you're coloring Sonic, color all in the same direction. And if you see that's a little white spot, or someplace that you missed, that's fine, you can blend it in. But just try to have an even stroke drawing back and forth across the canvas. Make a nice smooth line. So, follow me in the next step. I'm going to go and cue the speed draw here, catch you at the end of our coloring step, where maybe I'll add a little bit of shading to it. Now that we've put in the flat colors for Sonic, now we can go on to do the next step, which are highlights and shadows. So the shadows are going to be our next step. You want to pick a darker color than your base color. Bring it down here a little bit. And then the most important thing is determining where your light source is. So the light source for Sonic is going to be in the upper left-hand corner. And so when we put in the shadows, we want to think about where the sun's coming from. And if that's our sun, it's hitting Sonic from the left. So that means that everything that sun is hitting on his left side is going to be brighter than what it's going to be on the right side. And you really have to think three-dimensionally when you do this, as is the sun behind him, is it in front of him, and really what direction, the front or the back it's coming from to create that shadow on the body. So we're going to find a little bit darker color here, and I'm going to come in here and color right underneath his eyes, right underneath his eyebrow. Color the back side of his ear. Then we're going to color the back of his skull. We can also get into things like cast shadows and form shadows, but for right now, let's just talk a little bit about our basic shadows here, which if you think of Sonic as a three-dimensional character, just to keep things simple, think light on the top, shadow on the bottom. And there you have it. There's Sonic the Hedgehog for Speedster September. Make sure you tune in next time for our next character. I have a few ideas on what I want to do, but we'll leave that as a surprise. And remember, if you're not a subscriber to our channel, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then leave us a comment down below. We really want to know, what other characters would you like me to draw? So maybe it's another Speedster. Give me some suggestions. Comment down below. Okay? Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.